Hi everyone, I'm here today with a quick share of my craft themed journals. We've been super busy up here on our little homestead on our mountain, getting ready for winter and such, so I've been back and forth between the garden and the craft room at quite a pace. So this is what I've come up with. I have a word band on each of them and have named them for that band Remnants, Authentic, and Exhibit A. They are craft themed, but a lot of sewing involved with the theme throughout. And we'll take a peek inside too, and then I'll flip through one completely. This is Authentic, and this is my very favorite image on the fabrics by the designer J. Wecker Frisch. I don't know what it is about her. I've got her in color on another bit of that fabric, and I just love the way she appears. I've got a layered lace and flower with some eyelash trim and lots of fun buttons. And then at the bottom, I've got a safety pin with some beads and some shears. There's lots dripping out the bottom of these, just layers upon layers. I've come to call all the things that I put inside a journal stuffings, and now that I've begun to embellish heavily off the bottom on some of these, I think of these as drippings. So underneath the cover image and over the spine and the back is one of these antique lace dyed doilies, and this is a canvas with sewing definitions collaged, printed onto the canvas-like material. It's a soft cover. There are 4 signatures, and we can go inside. There's another doily that was dyed a very similar color to the one on the spine on the top inside cover, and fabulous crafting images. These are in my, I think it's in my Creative Children digi. If not, it's in the Crafters. I printed out pages from each, and I can never remember which came from what. On the back cover, there is a cotton printed piece of fabric with tape rulers on it. I love that. It works for sewing themes, and it works to go with like men's tool themes and stuff. I have a whole bunch of that fabric I have not used yet. Just some tea-dyed sayings folded up in there, and a button card. These are just clipped onto the lace in the back, which has buttons at the bottom, and a tea-dyed index card. Eat, sleep, craft, and repeat. I resemble that. So that is the inside of Authentic. This is Exhibit A, and I love this gal. Her legs say drawing and crayon, and the wording on her torso says stenciling. Little flower cluster down here with the shears. And the same stuffings on the bottom. And taking a peek inside, quite similar. Images and tags, cute as a button, and there's a wooden button sewed there. Just a little bit of extra fancy stitching. And back page has got some wonderful fabric, just stitched for that collage look. And another button card and tag back there. And so that's inside Exhibit A. And this gal is Remnants. Love the detail, the little tape measure around her waist and the spools hanging in her steampunk-esque skirt. And similar to the others. Lots going on in every direction. You know, I have been testing as I've done this to take my hand and gently fold this way and set them up on a shelf, and they stand up fine. Wouldn't want to stack it in between books on a bookcase, but in case you were wondering if you could set these upright, you can. You can. I've made it cascading back so that it folds under nicely. So let's go inside. So this one also has the lace doily in the top corner and a stamp for needles with some sari on it. There we go, and another pocket. Grunged, altered, and imagined. I had done a set of, or a couple pages actually, of words that had to do with crafting and repurposing for a journal way back when, and I printed some of those out. You had me in stitches and the definition of repurpose. Some stenciling. The first signature, the first page, first and last page of the first signature in each of these has muslin sewed down, so there's a little trim there. And these will lay mostly flat. They're soft covered, so they tend to want to bunch up just a little back, but they lay flat nicely. I collaged a little stamp looking, postcard looking index card with stamps. I'm almost positive these came from Tracy Fox. A little bit of sari and stamping. And just some more words stuck down in the lace, saved and reused. Someone let me know when professional pinner becomes a career option. We've all been there. A little extra stitching down the side. I've got 3 book pages in each of these journals. One is from a teddy bear catalog, and I always associate crafting with teddy bears. So I put a page of each of those in. I love this trim. I bought it on Etsy from a shop in India, and it's just so pretty with the sequins and the embroidery, and stitched onto silk. My new business card. I keep futzing with the color and size of this, but I've had so much fun with that little sunflower print that I pulled from one of the old books that I have. And I've just stitched some sewing related fabric here and there. Little tag, sheer madness. Sewing fills my days, not to mention the living room, bedroom, and closets. The first signature has some long dangles coming out, and they're a dragonfly bead ensemble and an owl, and they actually hang right out the bottom and become part of the drippings. Maybe I shouldn't use that word. I'd hate to have people say Mrs. Cog makes drippy journals. Maybe I need to rethink that. I only sew on the days that end in a Y. The answer is crafting. I don't care what the question is. Just some stamping. I was sewing when sewing wasn't cool. These are fabulous antique Italian buttons that Amelia sent to me, and they just look so great stitched onto the lace-covered burlap. The burlap is actually floral ribbon, and I've gotten a few questions about this. Yes, I try to leave the wire in the top and the bottom and fold them over. It helps with the stiffness, especially if you're going to drape some embellishments off a tab. So really like those. I cut this out of a fabulous piece from Sheila Gingrich. Trash or treasure, heirloom, and keepsake. And I love that image of the toy maker. He looks like he's taking that so serious, and the scraps and everything in disarray around him. This is junk journal. And it's hard to stay in frame. I've got stuff coming out every side now. This fabulous piece of trim. This came from April Reeves, who is Pink Oddbird. She sent me the most wonderful bag of lace. I can't even imagine how many places she collected that all from. It was just, and I use snippets of it and everything now. Some great lavender washi collaged on the washi is collaged, and I put it on one of these little office tags. And sewing mends the soul. I so believe that. One of my kids said to me when they were very young that I'm always happy when I'm sewing. I put the charms on with coilless safety pins that don't have the coil in the bottom, so I could get the beads up the other side. And this says, "Love you to the moon and back." Love that print, that fabric. That was sent to me by Wendy Thompson recently, and I've actually used a number of fabulous, really bold, striking fabrics that she sent to me throughout these. Logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will get you everywhere. It's so true. They say the journey outward is limited, but the journey inward is limitless with your imagination. Another toy maker. Some extra stitching down the side. So much fabric, so little time, or so much fabric, so little time. Whenever one of my kids texts me and says, "so," we always reply with buttons. This is the middle of the first signature in each of the journals, and this cardstock is fabulous. This is the new Tim Holtz. It was his Halloween release this year, I believe. It was called Abandon. But I didn't think it was, I thought it was much more, I don't know, boho or almost gypsy, like rich colors in it, more so than Halloween. And I've stitched some more of that fabulous trim on as a pocket there. I count my salary in yards of fabric. And I've put little tabs, pins and needles on to this first enclosure, and inside it's an actual little needle book. This is a felt flower and felt pins and needles. There's a little stick pin with a bead on it there, and pins hanging. These are bulb pins, and these are coilless mini safety pins. So that's the little pins and needle. And then on the back I've stitched a lace and muslin pocket with some little cards in it. It's another collaged index card. And some of that great tape measure fabric. A little bit of sari stitched up here. The second page that I put in each of these was one of these Rockwell compilations of black and white covers from, sorry about the glare. Of course, I'm making a video, so the sun disappeared. But, you know, I love to put Rockwell in my journals, so there it is. Nothing hurts us like the fabric we didn't buy. I can agree with that completely. And this is my newfound passion for making silk ruffles. Angela Arnold at Ellicate Designs has inspired me, so I have decided I need to be more pro ruffle. Stashed away, handed down, and thrifted. And this is actually part of an old lace tablecloth, a small tablecloth that I bought on eBay. I've been doing that a lot, looking on eBay for table runners, and to buy the doilies individually is often very expensive, but you can usually find someone who is who's selling some really nice things that you can take apart and work with. Another fabulous fabric from Wendy Thompson, complete with sari silk foofies, and another little safety pin. This has a sewing machine on it. Stitched pocket with some tape rule printed on it. These little crafting girls. And a mother at her spinning wheel and kids coming in with toys. So the middle of the, I was mistaken. The pins and the needles was the center signature of the second signature. This is the center of the third signature, and it says charms and paper clips. And there is a charm of a palette with a paintbrushes through it there. And inside we have charms, little Once Upon a Time, little brass turtle, and one of the Sunshine Moon charms. Same Tim Holtz abandoned cardstock that I used for this. And extra paper clips stamped and attached on for you. There's a little great butterfly bead safety pinned onto the lace. Love this lace. This is one of the things we can buy by the yard at Hobby Lobby. And of course, you know, I bring it home and dunk it in tea usually. I don't think I dyed this though. It looks almost cream colored. I might have hit it with a little distress ink. All good things come to those who craft. And some more pretty stitching down the side. Love that stitch. This is more of that fabulous tablecloth from my last project that I'm still cutting apart, and I just love the way the scallops fall. They're so old, and this was all naturally aged. This is very antique. It just pops off the side of the page there. Little girl stitching. And just some tea-dyed words. Given enough fabric, I could rule the world. What a world it would be if crafters ruled it, huh? I think crafting brings out the best in us. And this is the third book page that I put in all the journals. And this is from a doll pattern catalog. No. It was a hardback how-to book, rather, that I found at a used bookstore. And it has patterns and pictures on it, and each one is different. Some more of that fabulous cotton print. A fat quarter is not a body part. And some sari and stitching and stamping. When I can't focus in the evenings on a big project like assembling a major part of junk journals or something, and I'm in my craft room, I just pull out sari silk and some stamps and grab a pile of index cards. So those are the results, and those are the things that I end up scanning in for you guys to download in my shop. Some more vintage lace dripping off the bottom. I sew, therefore I squint. Some embroidery floss. And here is another coilless safety pin with a little cup with scissors and a paintbrush and pens and pencils in it, a crafter's cup. Little boys putting together a ship. And this is the middle of the fourth signature, and it also has beads almost hanging to the bottom on one, and the other one does hang off the page. Love that stencil. Another toy maker with the kids looking on. Just seems like such a festive craft. The only place where housework comes before needlework is in the dictionary. Love that quote. And these were some extra sewing and crafting sayings that I had, and I printed them on tea-dyed paper, and then I didn't use them for this, and I thought, why not? Why not just include them? You can write on the back of them, you can cut them up and make another craft. More ephemera. I love this. I fear when I die, my husband will sell my supplies for what I told him they cost. Little card about sari silk and where it comes from and how it phrased for a while. My little Tim Holtz words. With some tassels hanging off the bottom. These were also vintage, over 20 years old at least. Came out of an old collection. Foofies. Really like this fabric. It's not just sewing, there's keys and all kinds of like little embellishments and pins. It's just not enough room to show it all. And there's the back page of this. And inside there's a couple little crafty images and a ball of yarn with needles through it. And some extra stitching. And the button card and a little stamped index card there. So that is Remnants. So there we have it. These journals are all spoken for. I have 3 journal themes in the works. I have a new course in the planning stages. And I am trying to figure out a way to help share digi-stamps with you guys too. So lots of good things coming up. I also have a few tutorials planned, hopefully over the next month as we ease into the colder winter here and get some winter prep done. I'll have time to dive into those. And yeah, so thanks for joining me today, and I will be back soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.